Greetings and welcome. I'm Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well. I'm guided by Spirit. Just a quick announcement: if you are a real-time viewer, the podcast was meant to come out Sunday 6 p.m. First one being a conversation piece around and read through with true crime and numerology. Apologies, there will be a delay. I just need to figure out delivery in terms of tone and how I present it versus the way I do the videos. So it is coming latest in a month, latest. Trigger warning: the subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime events. All cases are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. So instead of releasing the podcast today, I had prepared this episode for next week. So as a token, for those that were expecting a release today, I'm going to present Avery Koonce, who was, unfortunately, a young cadet in the naval forces in the US. By all accounts, was a healthy, fit cadet. She was a top athlete as well, field and track. And of course, she had just enlisted in the Navy. So, unfortunately, reports coming out that she passed on September the 4th. And of course, there's just been now the release of the autopsy and findings, which say that the Air Force cadet here, cause of death blamed on rare bacterial infection. So I'm going to have a look at that because when I started looking at the dates and times, something is not adding up for me. And you will recall I recently did a show on a virologist, medical doctor, and we'll be comparing notes just to see if we have any variance in what the outcome was on this particular event. So Avery Koonce was born on September the 1st, 2005. So if we look at her profile, she definitely has aviation number 7, the aviator 7, and I believe that was one of her main goals, or if not the goal, was to be a pilot. She has organizational big, let's say army number if you like, the 10-1. She will follow commands, etc. The 1, even though there's a 10-1 outcome, the 1 will always suggest the individual, although she's a team player, yes, she'll fall into the platoon and however the army works or navy. But she will always remain and retain her individuality. Okay. The 8, of course, is important when you're dealing with navy, engineering, mechanics, how things work. The 9 brings around the propensity for higher learning. So she definitely had the propensity to do what she was doing, there's no doubt about that. And the 8s bring around her physical nature. 7, striving for excellence. 9, striving for perfection. So by all accounts, she was doing very well, very popular. Well, it's not a popularity contest in the Navy, but by all accounts, she was well known, popular, liked. Didn't necessarily, as far as I've read, didn't stand out as, what is the corporate word? An outlier. Okay. So what happened here? This is the day where she was discovered. And we see a 13-4. Okay. Now, the 4 in the day can bring around a medical thing. If we look at this purely from a medical point of view, 4 is about medicine, medical. What I'm not liking is we see this 21-3 after the fact. So what was trying to be restrained? And this is where we start picking up pieces, because the following day we immediately have a 5 in the day. We even have a 14-5 in the middle of the day. So to me, something has gone wrong here. In my opinion, something has gone wrong here. This is not it's not reflecting as a natural death. The 22-4 was kept on bugging me, because on one hand we can say on the scale is the medical facility, and we can say then there's a passing. But you'll note in the +9 of the event day, beg your pardon, the +9 in the event day, we see a hidden 22-4. So immediately after her passing, the 22-4 is open, in the air, known, knowledgeable. There's a collective knowing even. Now, when you have a bacterial or even a viral infection, you're looking for numbers like the number 6. So if we take the day and we have a +3, we see a 6 here. Fair enough. Fair enough. But why is there a 15-6? So a 15-6 is going to allude to there's been human interference. It means a human hand had a play in the outcome. Does that make sense? So for me, that's problematic. So for example, if you look at our good doctor, Dr. Timothy J. Cunningham, look at all these 6s here. Okay, so we have that there in Avery's numbers, but here's the main number, 33-6. It needs to be of a large situation. Do you know what I mean? Like if for example the virus is infected to her, there's still a manipulation issue, and we have a foul play issue. So in my opinion, the numbers and the sequencing is not lining up to, let's say, whatever infection she may have had, or bacterial infection, as rare as you want to make it. Because once you say rare, it means it's one of those that are 1 in a million. So for me already, if we follow the narrative, for me has problems. There's holes in the narrative. So we go deeper. So we go to the +3. We see a 7 starting off the sequence. There's been a death of innocence. Now 16-7 brings around various elements. On one hand, now, okay, I've just been asked to just explain something here on the left. I received an image which pertains to this situation here. He lay her down as she died. I had an image of her looking up, which brings around the word sudden So in other words, someone was present while she died, in my opinion, allegedly, which brings around elements like homicide, premeditation, and I'll explain why. Some could argue a hit. So let's have a look. The big player here is 16-7. Because when this number is in play, it can mean several things, as we've come to discover over the episodes. On the one hand, 16-7 can bring about a death. Delivery via aerosol, 16-7, which we saw in the Boeing episodes. And the 6 that we are seeing here. So we now, if we're still looking for the number of virus, or a virus is 6. But why is it then sent into the air if it was internal, for example? Bacterial infection. So why is it in the air? If you want to then argue and say, then anyone that came into contact with her would have suffered the same consequences if you want to look at 16-7 as contagion. But that's not contagious. This is delivery via aerosol. Aerosol 7. 6, the poison, not virus, poison. See, we have a man-made issue here as well. Aerosol is man-made. 15-6 is manipulation by man or male. I was meant to say human, but let's say male in this case. 24-6 is integration into the anatomical processes of the body, which brings around this death, right? When you go into the +6 and we start looking at what actually happened, like this is where we're meant to see the human here. So we see 10-1, which obviously then pings directly on Avery. Oh, beg your pardon, I didn't have the name here. Avery walks into, if you will, an operational situation. 27-9, premeditation number. And by the way, where we're supposed to see the human aspect of this whole situation here, there should be 6s here. 6s indicating virus, infection, disease. It's not present when it should be, because this is what is impacting the human. So why is an operation intended for death is what happened, according to this? So if we look at where does the 19-10-1 originate? Because that's the situation, right? And it's in the same position here. Here's it here. Something has transpired to create this event. (16-7) also speaks about the whistleblower. Whistleblower. Taken out, in my opinion, whistleblower, by someone familiar, 24/6, if we're looking at the human aspect. By someone familiar, male. Now let's zoom out here. Look at, it's always interesting to see what happens after the fact, right? The 14-5 here that's in play speaks about these guys here. Band of brothers. It's a small group. There's the perp, male, who brought in the poison. And 14-5 also brings a ghastly aspect of they may have had a few drinks afterwards. When we go into the +9 where all is revealed, and of course these are purely from a reflective point of view days, that when we get into the +9, now this 22-4 is hidden. Why would, let's put it this way. So we've got to trace where this 22-4 either originates from or plays later on in the sequence, right? In this case, it's here, 22-4. So this is like saying, why, when she dies here, why are they hiding the medicine? What is the reason for the medicine being hidden? And if you take it to a medical, medicine, pharmaceutical level, if you like, 22-4 speaks about things like, of course, medical. It speaks about things like vaccines. If this is the case, we have a 30 outcome 3 immediately afterwards, which at this level, pharmaceutical level, speaks about a chemical bomb. Chemicals control. Control outcome. Control the outcome. 3. Now, was she purposely injected with something? Or was it part of a medical regimen given to Navy personnel? I'm not familiar with procedures and processes in the Army or Navy. But in my opinion, by accounts of the image I received, and there is accounts or reports saying she was coughing the days before, but in my opinion, this doesn't line up as a natural death. And we can argue not a natural death because obviously anyone that gets an infection can die, sure. But the day and the +6 where the human focus is operational to the T. Unfortunately. So what has transpired here? And I'm sure just by looking at your expression, and this is purely subjective, not exactly happy eyes. In in my opinion, this is regarded as suspicious, particularly with a 9 outcome. 9 is death, but it speaks about the words like premeditated, planned. All right, ladies and gentlemen, apologies about the late launch on the podcast series. I am looking at starting it at the beginning of November. I just want to make sure I've got the delivery and tone right. Also, how do I position the discussion, because obviously with video there's a lot more visual, so I need to speak visually so you would understand, if that makes sense. So I want to just get rehearsed, make sure it's all ready before I launch as well. And once again, if you're still listening, thank you very much. Thank you for watching. I do appreciate all of you. I appreciate you all. Stay safe, stay alert. I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.